Good afternoon, Ravi.
Yeah, hi, Pushpin. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pushpin. Good afternoon, Ravi.
Yeah, hi, Satish. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Satish.
Yeah, brother. Good afternoon.
Yeah, okay. So today our new topic, right? New topic means new discussion in the microservices only, right? What is that? Circuit breaker, right? Circuit breaker. So what is the circuit breaker? Why we are using the circuit breaker in what? Microservices. Today we will understand. Now everyone is ready, guys?
Yes, Ravi.
So
Yes, Ravi.
this concept is very important concept, guys. Okay. It's a need, right? In if you know that microservices means, if you know that what, you know that circuit breaker, right? Means if you don't know circuit breaker, means you don't know microservices, right?
Yes, Ravi.
Yes, Ravi.
Yeah, so spring. So today our discussion is what? Cloud
Circuit breaker.
spring cloud circuit breaker, right? Circuit breaker, right? Spring cloud, what is that? Circuit breaker. So why we are using circuit breaker in our application? Why we are using circuit breaker in our application? So if there are continuous exception rise by application, right? So just assume that thousand requests is came, are just what is that? So for the period of time, right, our application is going to down. So what will happen now? Our end user is making the request. If end user is making the request, if we are not handling those things, and if we are not giving the information to end user, then how our end user will understand our application? Our application is not running, right? Our application server is down. So we need to give some messages to end user, na guys, come on, yeah.
Yes, Ravi.
So
Yes, Ravi. Yes.
like this situation, if we need to handle, right, in our application, then what we will use it now, guys? Circuit breaker.
Circuit breaker.
Breaker.
Circuit breaker, right? So now so many people, when I was started, how we are handling the exception in our what? Microservices. How, if like this problem is there, how we will handle it, right? So today that concept
Yes, sir.
is came, guys. Today that concept is came. So I said that, right, please give me the time, right? Whenever I will reach on that topic, definitely elaborated explanation will be there, right? In nothing I will skip. It's
Good
not
afternoon, Ravi.
meaning that. Yeah, hi, who is that? Yeah,
Yes, Sudhir.
yeah,
I
Sudhir,
think
hi.
Sudhir.
Hi, how are you?
I have heard the name.
Yes, Ravi, I'm good.
Now how's your uh,
Yeah, my mother-in-law is fine now. Like her hand is fractured now.
okay. No,
Uh,
just take care, right?
okay,
Because
okay.
yeah, here you will get the videos, right? But the thing is, if the time is like what the current time, if whenever the people need, if you are not helping that people, right, then the people will in the like family as well as what relative, the people will tell after 10 years also, at that time I need, you did not help na. But the
Yes, sir. Yes, Ravi.
Yes.
yeah, but the subject we can learn right anytime. So whenever the need, right, don't like what we can say, that don't leave, definitely help them, right?
Sure, Ravi. Yeah.
Yeah, so today our topic is what? Spring cloud circuit breaker. Even today new concept is there, so there, okay, you can understand. So now the thing is why we are using what circuit breaker means, what that just simply, guys, just simply what, if there are continuous exception raised by application, right, raised by application, then what are stop execution or stop actual logic, right, actual, like just like that, what we are doing the transaction, just assume that we are doing the transaction, right? So what will happen now, sometime just we are going, we are entering the ATM machine, right? So what we are doing now, just
Yes, sir.
assume that ICICI bank ATM is there, or what, just no, leave it. API UPI we are using na, Google Pay, Phone Pay, right? So sometime you guys are getting this kind of messages, receiver bank server is down, like this messages,
Yes, Ravi.
anybody got
Yes, Ravi. Yes.
Yeah, I have faced.
Yes, Ravi.
like this,
Please try after some time.
yeah, please try at the sometime, right? If this
Yes,
messages, if you are not getting right, then how you guys are like what understanding, oh, in this time our application is not working, let's try later, right?
yes, Ravi.
So these kind of situation, if we need to handle, then what concept we are using now, guys? Circuit breaker, right?
Cloud
Circuit breaker.
So by with the example only, just think about that, how much important topic is there now today.
Yes, Ravi.
Hmm?
Yes, Ravi.
Yes.
Correct.
So the question is what? The question, just question only, just we took, right? So why we are using circuit breaker? So just normally what, if if there if there are continuous CONTIRTENUS, what is that?
CON CONTI
C1.
CONTI.
Spelling is correct?
No, CONTI TI
Okay.
TI NOUES.
Correct.
No, CONTI.
CONTI.
Ravi, it's given in the chat. It's given in the chat. Please check the chat.
Actually, the problem is whenever I'm trying to write continuous, every time I'm doing the mistake. I don't know every time why I'm forgetting the continuous spelling only, because of that. This is the problem with me, right?
Yeah.
No problem, Ravi. You are having
I'll
more
write.
than that in your mind.
No, actually, if you say right, I will write every spelling, but I don't know why I'm doing the mistake whenever I'm writing continuous. Right? So continuous exception, right? This is the correct, right? I'm not hiding, guys. Okay, whatever problem is there inside me, everything I'm sharing with you guys, right? If there is if what is that? If there are what? If there are continuous exception. If there are what? Continuous exception raised by what?
Application.
Application.
RA, what is that? RAISD, right? Raised by what application? raised by application or stop what is that, stop execution, right? Stop execution, stop execution, execution or actual actual logic, right? Actual logic for what is that, for what, for a period of time, period of what, period of what time, right? Period of time and what, and provide some, what is that, some somewhat some response.
Error message.
Response is called what, is called what, called what, called as what, called as what, circuit breaker. What we can say that now,
Circuit
guys?
breaker.
circuit breaker.
Circuit breaker.
Circuit breaker.
Breaker. Now let's understand these things as a what, let's understand these things as a diagrammatically, guys. Okay, then you guys will get what is that more clear picture, and you guys will get what is that in the session only confidence, right? So we need what is that, we need that kind of confidence na, come on, because once we will leave the session, I know that no one right, what is that, watching the YouTube video, and even no one having the time that much, guys. Okay, seriously, right? So yeah, so even you know, before session, right, before session, even I'm not also reading microservices. After session also, I'm not, what is that, whatever recording is going on, even I'm not listening what I spoke in the session, right, or what I taught in the session, really. So now what is that, spring, if what is that circuit breaker, if there are continuous exception raised by application or stop execution actual logic for a period of time and provide some response, is called, what is that, called as what, circuit breaker. Now let's understand in the microservices. Just assume that this is the microservices, guys. Okay, just what, just assume that this is the microservices application, right? Microservices application. Then here what will happen now, end user is making the request, right? End user is making the request. Good, end user is making the request. Then end user what, end user is making the request. End user is making the request, it means what, just read my what is that explanation only, right? So here what I said, stop executing actual logic, just assume that, right? Just assume that. So we are writing one, what is that, in the microservices, one method we are writing, right? One method where we are writing the actual logic of what, just assume that we are writing the actual logic of what, transaction, where we are writing in the method only na, come on, where we are writing the logic.
Yes,
Yes,
Ravi.
Ravi.
in
Inside
the
the
Java,
in the method.
in the Java, inside the method only we are writing the logics na, guys, come on yaar.
Yes, Ravi, the method only.
Yes,
Ravi.
so that one only. So actual logic, that actual logic is nothing but what is that actual method. Let's take an actual method. That is what, actual method means what, whenever we are making the request, right, then what will happen now, smoothly if this method executing, then there is no problem, here only we will get the response. Just assume that what will happen now, if any error occurred at the time of execution, right, at the time of executing this method, if any problem is occurred, then we need to what, then we need to what, give some dummy logic to our end user, right, end user. So just assume that here what we are going to do now, we are writing one more method, right, we are writing one more method, and that dummy method is nothing, that dummy method is nothing but what we are saying, that what is that, fallback mechanism, right? Fallback mechanism or fallback method. What we are saying now, that method is called, what is that, fallback Fallback method.
Fallback.
Fallback method. So what will happen now? This fallback method will give the response to whom? Response to whom? End user, right?
Yes, Ravi.
Yes, Ravi.
This response will get from the, what is that? Fallback method. Just assume that this
Fallback method.
yeah, this response, right? End user is making the request, right? So unfortunately, what will happen now? This end user is making the request to whom? Actual in the microservices with what is that? Actual method. Actual method. In the actual method, some problem occurred, right? In actual method, what? Some problem occurred, right? So what we will do it now? Then we will give what is that? Some alternate way, right? Alternate way, and that alternate way will execute, and there only we will write some logic, and that logic will give the response to end user. That is nothing but what? Just assume that exception. Just normally what we can say that, just assume that at the time of executing this actual method logic, then what will happen? Some exception occurred, right? Some exception occurred. Exception occurred. Then what we will do it now? We will give the so this we will give the alternate way is nothing but what is that? Dummy method. We will give some dummy method. That dummy method is nothing but what is that? Fallback.
Fallback
What is that? Fallback method, right? Fallback, what is that? Method. So same way, right? This is the two concept is there in the what is that? Circuit breaker. What is that? Two concept is there, right? Two concept is there. First we will understand this one only, then later we will understand one more concept, that is the circuit breaker. Actual usage is that one only, right? So now same way. So what is the circuit breaker now, guys? Okay, circuit breaker, right? What is the circuit breaker? This concept is nothing but what? Fallback mechanism, right? Fallback mechanism, right?
Yes, Ravi.
Yes, Ravi.
Fallback, this concept is nothing but what? Fallback mechanism or fallbacks, right? But what is that? What in the real time and in a microservices, what we are using now? Circuit breaker with what is that? Fallback. What we are using now? Circuit breaker with what? Fallback. We are using in the real
Fallback.
time, in the real time. So now, so here we have what is that? Here we have need to understand what is that? Two things, right? Two things, right? What is that? First we need to understand what is that? Fallback method, and what is the another one is what? Circuit breaker process, right? Circuit breaker process. So now let's understand what is that? What is the actual fallback method mechanism we understood now? Let's understand what? Circuit breaker also, right? Circuit breaker also. So first let's write the theory part also. Fallback method, right? Fallback method. Just request is sent, right? A request is sent to what? Actual method, right? Actual method of what is that? Microservices. Of what? Microservices only, right? Only if any exception, if any exception is occurred, if any microservices, if any exception occurred in microservices, right? In microservices, then what will happen now? Then move.
Ravi, request is sent to fallback method,
No, yes,
not actual method.
yeah, request if, right, in the fallback mechanism I'm talking about that, right? Request is sent to actual method, right? Here what we are doing now, we are sending the request to whom? Actual method, right? Actual method, that one only I'm writing. So it's sent to actual method of microservices. Only if any exception is occurred in microservices, right? If any exception occurred in this one, right? Then what is that? Then move, right? Then move to what? Then move to fallback method or dummy
Fallback
method.
method.
Then move to what? Then move to
Yes, Ravi.
what? One dummy method, right? Method. That dummy method is nothing but what is that? Fallback
Fallback
method,
method.
right?
Fallback
That,
method.
yeah, that dummy method is nothing but what is that? Fallback method, which give the response, which gives the response, such a dummy is called what is that?
fallback method.
As
Fallback
fallback.
method.
Now clear, guys?
Mechanical.
Such dummy method is nothing but what? Fallback method, right? So
Yes,
Yes,
Ravi, clear.
now let's understand what is that circuit breaker. What is the circuit breaker now, guys? Okay, the combination of what is that? The combination of what? Fallback method and a circuit breaker, right? Circuit breaker only we are using in the real time. We are using both combination, right? Both combination. Now just what is that? Just here what will happen now? Just assume that, right? Here microservices. 1 minute. First we need to write the heading now. So next what is that? Next understand what is that? Let's understand what is a circuit breaker. Circuit breaker with what is that? With what? Fallback. Circuit breaker with what? Fallback. Okay, so now just what is that? Here our end user is making the request, guys. Okay, end user is making the request. End user is making the request. Then what will happen now? End user is making the request to whom? Actual logic, right?
Actual method.
Actual
Method.
Actual method, right? Actual method. Oh,
yes, sir.
actual method. Then what is that? Then what will happen now? Problem came, right? Problem came or error came inside our what? Actual method. Then what is that? Which block will come? Which block will come? Dummy or what? Fallback, right? Let's
Fallback.
take dummy method is came, right?
Yes, sir.
Dummy method is came, right? So means what? When this dummy method will execute, when the exception is came, right? When exception came,
Yes, sir.
then what will happen now? This dummy block will execute, right? This dummy block will execute, and this dummy block will give the response to whom? End user, right? Then this dummy block will give the response to whom? End user, right? End user. Our end user is getting the response from what? Dummy method, right? Dummy method. When if any error occurred, if any error occurred at the time of executing, what is that? Actual logic, right? So now, so just assume that, right? Our end user is making the request. Just assume 20 request is came. In the 20 request, right? Just what is that 20 request is coming? It's not meaning that whenever our project is live, right? Only one request will not come. thousand million request is handling our project in a single time, right guys? Come on.
Yes, Ravi, correct.
Or any banking project, just take any banking project. You can expect, if our project is live, means what? Any banking project usage is only one request? No, na. Minimum thousand
Thousands of requests will be there.
thousand requests is processing our what is that one banking project. Now, guys, come on. Even think about that. Our Facebook only. How many Facebook users are there? Right?
Millions.
Yes.
Yes, Ravi, yes.
So request is came, right? So means just assume that. So if just by default, what is that? Our microservices, what is that? A request is 20 only. If 20 request is came, just assume that one request is came, and here what? Our actual logic is failed. Again, what is that? Dummy response will get, right? Again, what is that? One more request is came, right? Then what will happen now? Dummy response is getting, right? Again, yeah. So this one only, right? Means what? Just if what? If actual logic processing is correct, then what is that? We are getting the response from here only, right? Dummy method will not execute. Dummy method will not execute, right? But if at the time of execution, our what is that actual logic, if any problem occurred, right, then what will happen? Dummy method will execute. Come on, guys. People are getting my point.
Yes, Ravi.
correct.
Yes, Ravi.
Yes.
So
Yes, clear.
Yes, Ravi.
Yes, Ravi,
so
get it.
same like what will happen if 20 request is came, right? Just assume that 20 request is came, because by default our what is that circuit breaker supporting mod 20 request, right? 20 it's supporting multiple requests, but 20 request if exceeding, then what is that? Different concept will come, right? So because of that, I'm stressing this concept more. So here what is that? Request is came, right? So what will happen? Dummy method is came, right? Dummy method is what? Came. Similar way, right? Similar way, then what? If 20 method continuously our application is checking, hey, this request and our microservices is down, and this dummy method is executing every time, then what will happen now? Our microservices will what is that? Use here what? Our microservices will stop for what is that? Will stop execution of what? This actual logic 20 seconds or 5 seconds. Default is what is that? 5 seconds, right? For 5 seconds, our what? Microservices will stop, right? What is that? Actual execution of what is that? Logic, or actual execution of what? Our method. Then what is that? That is nothing but what? It will break the circuit, right? It will break the circuit directly. It will send the request to whom? Our dummy method, right? Our dummy method. Then our dummy method,
Yes.
Yes, Ravi.
right? Our dummy method will execute, right? Then this concept is nothing but what? So then what will happen here? What is that? After 20 requests, right? After 20th request, what is that? It will break the circuit. Our what is that? Actual method will stop for
My
what is
voice
that?
is breaking.
My voice is breaking.
No, Ravi.
No, Ravi, it's clear.
My voice is not breaking today. 1 minute.
No, I think Sudhir, your side maybe some network.
Okay, fine. I'll check it.
Just I'm checking now. .38 Mbps I'm getting, right? Downloading is speed. It's first in this time it's giving the downloading speed. Wait. Downloading speed I'm getting 43.9 Mbps, right? And uploading speed, it's giving, wait. Downloading 43.9 Mbps, uploading 44.8 Mbps. Speed is good.
Yes, everybody.
So here
Yes,
what?
sir.
Yeah. So here what? What? So it will, our application, our microservices will stop. Will stop after 20th request. What is that? Our microservices will stop. What is that? Stop the to responding this actual method. Then what is that? It will break the request. It will break the request and directly it will send to whom? It will send to whom? Dummy method, and dummy method will give the response,
Dummy
right?
Method.
uh, just what is that? It will break the response to what? 5 seconds. For 5 seconds, for 5 seconds it will stop. What is that? It will stop the response after the 5 seconds, right? After 5 seconds, then again then what is that? Then request will go to actual method, right? Actual method, it will start to executing. Still the problem is there, same. Still what is the server is down. Then again the request will come to whom? Again request will come to whom? Sorry, again request will break, right? Again this request will break, and then dummy method will execute, right? This concept is nothing but what? This concept is nothing but what is that, guys? Circuit breaker. What we are saying now?
Circuit breaker.
Circuit
This concept is nothing but what? This concept is nothing but what? Circuit breaker concept, right? Circuit breaker concept. So in the real time, guys, okay, so whenever we are implementing circuit breaker, right? So one dashboard also came, right? One, what is that? Hystrix dashboard will come, right? Hystrix what? Dashboard will come where we will monitor the error, where we will the where we will monitor the error exception. That one, what is that? That error will what is that? Monitor one supportive people, right? One supportive people will be there. That supportive people will monitor that error, right? That error will what is that? Monitor one supportive team member, right? Now here what is that? Here this one will come as a, what is that? Here what is that? Error detail we will get. Detail we will get for the microservices. In the microservices, whatever error will come na, that those detail we will capture in the what is that? Hystrix dashboard, right? Hystrix
Yes, sir.
dashboard. This dashboard for what is that? Monitoring the detail. Monitoring the details, right? Monitoring the details. So now the thing is, guys, okay, so means what is that? Here what? Whenever we are making the request na, whenever we are making the request, right? So after 20th request, right? Then if every time error is came, right, for the 5 second, what is that? Directly request will go to what? Dummy method, right? Dummy method. Now come on, guys, give
Yes,
the
sir.
response, guys.
Yes, sir.
Directly what?
Yes.
Directly this request will go to what? Dummy
Yes, sir,
method.
Ravi.
Dummy method, right? Means
Dummy
what is
method.
that? Means what is that? Which instruction is working? Which status is working? Means what? Between these two, what is that? Two status will be there, guys, okay? Two status will be there. What is that? One is a open status, another one is what? Closed status. What is the open status and what is the closed status? Let's understand, right? Let's understand. So means what is that? What is that? Means what? Just if smooth execution is there of our what? Actual method, if smooth execution is there, right? Then what is that? This one will, what is that? Then here what will happen now? Here this one will what? Closed, right? This one will closed, and what is that? Execution flow will be continuously, right? Continuously execution flow will be continuously, right? Continuously. This one, this nothing, this status is